Senator Boswell.
Here.
Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Givens.
Here.
Senator Maiden.
Here.
Senator Neal. Senator Nunn.
Here.
Senator Rawlings.
Present.
Senator Richardson. Senator Webb. Vice Chair Mace Bledsoe.
Here.
Chair McDaniel.
Here. Very well. Having a quorum and duly constituted to conduct business, we will proceed. Senator Givens has asked for the floor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And again, we so much appreciate the staff and the work they do of making these possible when they're quite impossible. And speaking of meetings possible and impossible, we had a situation this morning regarding House Joint Resolution 53 regarding the release of previously appropriated funds for KSU. And I was on the prevailing side of that vote regarding House Joint Resolution 53, and I would make a motion that we reconsider the vote by which the decision was made, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion, second from Senator Maiden. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. The ayes have it. The motion will be reconsidered. I believe at this time, President Acapa, sorry, sir, is here. If you wouldn't care to come to the table, do you want to make any remarks at all, sir? Please come up, sir. If you would, sir, identify yourself for the record and proceed. If you wouldn't care, please make sure you got the green button on there, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Kofi Akapo, president at Kentucky State University. I just want to thank you all for reconsidering this resolution for KSU. I understand, Senator McDaniel, I fully understand your concern. We have had problems. But one thing I can tell you is we are making progress, not like one that KSU has ever seen before. This past fall, enrollment was up 30%. This spring, it's up 32%. If you do recall, prior to my arrival, the school was in financial crisis. The budget wasn't balanced for 7 years in a row. My first year, I balanced the budget and put $5 million in fund balance, which the school has never had before. Even SAC COC sent delegates on campus in October, this past October. And this was their conclusion to me. So you need to be proud of yourself. You have done something that we have never seen anywhere else. In 1 year, you turned this around and was able to put fund in the fund balance. You should be proud of yourself. I understand things are not coming out fast enough, but I promise you, this has been the hardest job in my life. But I am committed to making it happen. Give me your votes. Trust me, I'll come back next year and show you what we have been able to accomplish. Thank you for your vote as well.
Very well. Any questions for President Capo? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. The motion on the resolution, Senator Mays Bledsoe. Do I have a second? Senator Maiden. Now, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell.
Aye.
Senator Funky Fromeyer.
No.
Senator Givens.
Aye.
Senator Maiden.
Aye.
Senator Mace Bledsoe.
Aye.
Senator Neal.
Aye.
Senator Nunn.
Aye.
Senator Rawlings.
Aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Webb. Chair McDaniel.
I'll cast a no vote and explain. President Capo is doing magnificent work at Kentucky State University, and support for him is critical for that institution to succeed. And I think what I would hope that you will take back to the campus, sir, is that you have the unwavering confidence of this, but the institution still has steps to take as a whole, and they need your leadership to do it, and they need to be listening to your leadership and following it. And I look forward to you utilizing the funds here in a good manner and coming back next year, and ideally us sending you forward with a good capital project that can continue that campus's momentum. And I hope that you will take the words from this committee to the campus as a whole and let them know that we excitedly anticipate their following of the leadership that you're providing. There being 9 aye votes, 2 nay votes, the measure passes with favorable expression. Thank you. Senator Neal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to ask a question. What is the effect of this vote?
It allocates money for design of their health, I think we're calling it Health Services Center, is that correct? Health Sciences Center.
May I speak to my aye vote?
3 minutes, sir. Go ahead and explain.
It'd be much less than that. What I want to do is I want to compliment President Acapo for the work that he's done, the diligence and dedication that he's shown and demonstrated, the progress, concrete progress that clearly has been made. And I can tell you from my observations and investigations of what's happened at that school since you arrived, sir, is extraordinary, and I have full confidence in your ability to get to the objectives that you've outlined. And this is going to be good not only for the students, not only for future students that come there, but this is going to be good for Kentucky. And I think it's a win all the way around. Thank you, sir. Congratulations.
Very well. I already announced the count, but 9 aye votes, 2 nay votes. The measure passes with favorable expression. All right, next up we have got House Bill 622. Representative McPherson, if you would like to come up, please. While the representative is approaching the rostrum here, we do have a committee substitute. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion on the sub. So moved. Senator Maiden, second by Senator Givens. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it. It is my understanding in working between you guys and the administration that this is a compromise bill between you, the nonprofit network, and the Finance and Administration Cabinet, and this is the end product that everyone has agreed upon.
Correct, Chairman.
So if
Yes.
you would like to testify to sections 1 through 3, and then I will talk about the balance of the bill.
Okay.
If you identify yourself for the record,
Yes.
guys, and proceed.
Representative Sean McPherson, State Representative, 22nd District.
Danielle Clore, Kentucky Nonprofit Network.
So as we started this bill, we explained it to be the framework for a more efficient government. We set out to say that we want to, when we appropriate money, we want it to be, we want everybody to take their time. We want them to put forth a contract that everybody can live through. We want them to think about what they can do, when they should get paid, how the money's going to come about, and how any disputes would be reconciled. So we set out net 30. We set out for 15 days afterwards, but some of those things is things that we have changed. And so partial payments on invoices. We understand that, when somebody comes and gives you an invoice and you've got 10 items and you've got 1 or 2 of them that maybe have a wrong number or somebody has questions about, we don't want to start the whole process over. We want to be able to pay those partial payments. So this does say any undisputed partial payments would be paid in 30 days. Anything that is disputed would have 10 days to go back and question, and then if those are not answered, then it would go back and go into the clock would start over again. So that's pretty much the crust of what this is. Again, it's the framework so that when we appropriate money, we don't just want them to grab it and then worry about how they're going to get it brought down to them later. We want them to stop and think about and discuss before they go out and get the bids so that it all works very fluid.
Very good.
Yeah, I would add essentially that particularly nonprofits who we are championing receive these grants and contracts, and as we've talked about, are thrilled with that. But then when payments are late, sometimes 30, 60, 90 days, that impacts them tremendously. So this is really reinforcing existing statute around late payments and prompt payments. And then the compromises that we've made with the cabinet, we feel, and they do as well, give them the leeway to not overhaul their entire system, but to still work with us toward the goals to get folks paid on time so that the General Assembly's appropriated funds can get to work.
Very well. Does anybody have any questions on the underlying compromise here? All right, seeing none. Guys, thank you. Just kind of hang tight there if you don't care, and we'll roll along. So if you look in Section 4, you have a series of things. First of all, there was a slight change that needed to be made in the allocation for the City of Elizabethtown water treatment and sewer projects. Just needed to make a change. There were just some zeros inadvertently deleted. Investments exceeding needed to be $2 billion and not $2 million. Moving on down. The recipient of funds for an economic development project goes from the Litchfield-Grayson County Airport to the Grayson County Fiscal Court instead, and just kind of add some additional descriptions for the uses of those funds. Under the School Resources Officer section, previously there was a language in there saying campus employee, at least one on site. What we found is campus could be a very broad location, and sometimes we had 3/4 of a mile between different buildings on the same campus, and so we deleted that so that there could be an expansion of those services. Also allows for reimbursement to police departments who provide SROs to non-public institutions, and also says that any SRO that is provided to a public or non-public institution, whatever rate the agency charges, is uniform throughout. In Section 7, we have heard from the administration that it appears that the contingency fund for the renovation of the Capitol will not be sufficient based off of the initial feedback for the bids, so they are granted necessary government expense authority of up to $20 million related to the contingency fund for the renovation of the Capitol, and then Section 8 is an emergency clause. So at this point in time, I will entertain a motion on the bill. Senator Mays Bledsoe, do I have a second? Senator Neal. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell. Aye. Senator Funke Frohmeyer. Aye. Senator Givens.
Aye.
Senator Maiden. Aye. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Aye. Senator Neal. Senator Nunn. Aye. Senator Rawlings. Aye. Senator Richardson. Senator Webb.
I'm going to pass it this time. I just need some time to review a provision.
Chair McDaniel.
Aye. There being 10 aye votes, 1 pass vote, the measure passes with favorable expression on the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Committee.
You've put a lot of diligent work into this thing over a long time. Congratulations to you. Even here at the end, you pushed hard at a time where when I told you to do it, I was like, I'll be dealing with this next session. But you proved me wrong, so thanks. All right. Last up, we have House Bill 775. This is a bill that's been in committee for a bit now. There are some changes to it. I will touch briefly section by section here and then gladly entertain questions when I get finished. Sections 1 through 2 deal with TIF districts. This particularly affects the Yum Center districts down in Louisville and some additional development opportunities that may exist there. Section 3 allows for craft brewers to file their returns electronically. Sections 4 through 5 and 38 to 39 deal with property taxes on pipelines. This relates to a Supreme Court decision regarding the definition of real property. 6 through 8 is some cleanup on the bourbon barrel tax bill that we did the other year. Section 9 deals with the income tax rate reduction corrections. And the change to this from the original bill is that in fiscal years 25-26 and 26-27, we allow the rate to go down by 1/4 or 1/2. And then starting in 27 to 28, it can go down by 0.1 at a time, up to 0.5 in a year. Section 10 deals with the extension of the Metropolitan College incentive. Sections 11 through 14 are the same regarding the Tourism Development Act and some lodging facility projects. Sections 15 through 18 deal with a TIF that had expired and just allows for reauthorization of an old TIF that had existed previously. Section 19 through 24 deals with the taxing rate on cannabis-infused beverages at $1.92 a gallon. Section 25 maintains the commitment to the development of alternative fuels policy, but also talks about the need to reevaluate the jet fuel tax credit in the Commonwealth. Sections 26 to 27 remain largely the same related to sales tax incentives for entertainment events, but do contemplate a future utilization of some of those revenues for developing those events in rural areas in the Commonwealth. Sections 28 to 29 deal with the selling farmer tax credit. President Gibbons, would you want to comment on that one briefly?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And obviously, one of the biggest challenges we face in production agriculture is the loss of farmland. We've got a challenge getting young farmers entered into the business because of the barriers to entry, mainly the cost. But in addition, over time, we've seen a lot of loss of farmland. So I'm excited about us, without expending any funds, maintaining the cap where it currently is regarding the tax credits, but providing opportunities for farmland to stay in production. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Section 30 deals with conformity to the Internal Revenue Code. Section 31 to 33 deals with the fees on cannabis-infused beverage licenses. $2,000 for retail, $1,000 for distributor, $1,000 for distributor supplemental, and $1,000 for a direct shipper. Section 34 deals with the expansion of data center project incentives. Section 35 deals with the first audit of the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation, which will be conducted in fiscal year 24 to 25. Section 36 prohibits additional locations for the play of electronic charity games until such time as the regulations are promulgated from the Horse Racing Commission. And Section 37 deals with the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation, allows promulgation of administrative regs thereon. Before I entertain a motion here, as we got finished with House Bill 622, I failed to make the motion on the title amendment. At this time, Chair will entertain a motion on title amendment for House Bill 622. Senator Mays Bledsoe, do I have a second? Second by Senator Richardson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. The ayes have it. Title amendment is adopted. At this time, I will entertain a motion on House Bill 775 by Senator Neal. Do I have a second? Senator Mays Bledsoe. At this time, are there any questions? Senator Funky Fromeyer.
Several questions around the taxation of the beverages that were being described. I don't know how to explain that, but a number of people have been asking, did we establish tax similar to a distilled beverage or a beer or a bourbon? Malted beverage or a distilled beverage?
More like a distilled spirit.
And can you help me know how that's different, or even if that's even changeable before the next legislative session? That can't be addressed in regs?
It cannot be.
Okay. And then I couldn't break that down for myself. I think it's page 83. I was trying to get there. How, right now they're not being taxed, so this is establishing tax. And
That is correct, yes.
And how would it compare with if it were taxed like beer? I think we heard a bit of those questions, and I'd like to be able to acknowledge the difference, and I don't know the difference.
So what is the question?
The difference between taxing it like a bourbon versus taxing it like a beer. Because I think this indicated the cents per gallon.
So beer is at $2.50 per barrel, and then you can see what the distilled spirits is there.
Per gallon.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Boswell.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question. So there's some stuff in there about the tax incremental financing district, and we've addressed this before on some of these districts, and we basically extended that period of time. Are these different ones that we've dealt with in the past? So I have one in my area that's still in effect.
This does not affect the one. Nothing that we're doing here affects the one in your area.
Okay, then I would like to make one other comment. So there is a section, if I understand this correctly, and I understand what we're trying to do here, which essentially allows us to reduce the incomes, the state income tax by an increment not of what we are currently doing of 0.5%. And I would just have to say this. I mean, one of the reasons I came up here to be in this legislature was continue this process of reducing this income tax to zero. And I'm very concerned that if we take our eyes off the ball and even start talking about a number that's less than 0.5%, that we're never going to get there. So I have very concerns about, and there's some great stuff in this bill. It's a long one, but there's some really good stuff in here. So I'm very conflicted about parts of this bill.
Did I have a motion in a second yet? Yes. All right. I'm sorry. Senator Rawlings.
In section 6 through 8, what does the cleanup on the bourbon barrel tax actually do?
So, right now the statute contemplates the tax reduction being based off of a rate. This converts the rate to an assessed value. The rate's a little bit more difficult to have a reduction on as you go through it, whereas the assessed value is kind of a fixed value that we can assign that to, and it basically makes the change from rate to assessed value.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Seeing no others, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell.
No.
Senator Funky Frommeyer. Senator Givens.
Aye.
Senator Maiden.
Yes.
Senator Mays Bledsoe.
Aye.
Senator Neal.
I want to explain my no vote.
Cast your vote and explain, sir. Well, you already cast, so I guess just explain, please, sir.
Yeah. What I want to do is, first of all, thank you for the hard work. I know a lot went into this, and there's a lot of good stuff in this, and I really appreciate it. My only real concern is it seems to make it easier to lower the tax rate, and that gives me some concern. But at this point, doesn't mean I'll say no on the floor, but I'll say no at this point.
Senator Nunn.
Cast a vote, explain my vote.
Cast and explain, sir.
I'm going to vote yes, but much like my colleague Senator Neal, I may vote differently on the floor. I'm just going to let this move along in the process. So.
Senator Rawlings.
Pass.
Senator Richardson. Senator Webb.
I'm going to vote aye, if I may explain, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Please explain.
As one of the original drafters and presenters of the original TIF legislation that was inspired by the Center back then, it always have to look closely at what we're doing in regard to these districts, and they are at a point now where they are being utilized outside of the Jefferson County area, and that was the intent. And the way I see this, I have no problem with it, so I vote yes. Thank you.
Chair McDaniel.
Aye. Means 7 aye votes, 2 nay votes, 2 pass votes. The measure passes with favorable expression. There is no more business to come before this committee, so we'll stand adjourned.